At exactly 2:18 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon, the geopolitical foundation of North America fractured. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney walked out to a podium in Ottawa, alone, with no aides and no warning, and delivered a 4-minute statement that is already being called the most aggressive diplomatic rebuke ever issued by a Canadian leader against the United States. What happened in that room wasn't just a press conference, it was a declaration that the American era is officially over. And the reaction from Washington has escalated this from a trade dispute into a full-blown national security crisis that threatens to militarize the longest undefended border in the world. Welcome back to Economy Guide. If you want to understand the shifting tides of the global order, make sure you are subscribed, because what we are watching today is history in real time. Let's break down exactly what happened, why the White House was caught off guard, and why America's closest allies are suddenly taking Canada's side. Carney's message was brutal in its simplicity. For 75 years, Canada built its entire economy and foreign policy around the idea that the United States was a reliable partner. Carney stood there and told the world that assumption is no longer valid. He explicitly stated that Canada will not wait for America to rediscover its principles and that his country is moving on. When he finished speaking, he didn't take questions. He just walked out. And within minutes, the internet broke. But to understand why this is happening right now, we have to look at the trigger event from yesterday morning. Toyota announced it was redirecting $9 billion in investment from the United States to Canada. That was the spark. It validated Carney's economic strategy and humiliated the current U.S. administration's trade policies. President Trump's response on Truth Social was immediate and explosive. In a series of posts less than 90 minutes after Carney spoke, Trump called Canada a frozen wasteland with a joke economy. But then he crossed a line that has never been crossed in modern history. He suggested that by the time he was done, Canada would be begging to be the 51st state and ordered immediate enhanced inspections at the border. This isn't just rhetoric. Sources in Ottawa say the Canadian cabinet held an emergency meeting where ministers pushed for a diplomatic response. But Carney overruled them. He decided the time for politeness was gone. He decided to match Trump's escalation. And here is where it gets dangerous. The U.S.-Canada relationship isn't just about maple syrup and cars. It is the backbone of North American defense. We are talking about NORAD, the joint command that monitors airspace for nuclear missiles. We are talking about the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, where Canadian and American spies share data on terrorism and cyber threats. If Trump follows through on his threats to review all agreements, he is threatening to tear down the security architecture that has kept this continent safe since the Cold War. The Pentagon is reportedly in crisis mode right now, trying to explain to the White House that without Canadian radar in the Arctic, the U.S. has massive blind spots. But the biggest shock of the last 24 hours isn't the fight itself. It's who is picking sides. Usually, when the U.S. gets into a spat, its allies stay quiet or back Washington. Not this time. We are seeing a diplomatic isolation of the United States that is unprecedented. We have the receipts. Receipt number 1, the UK. Prime Minister Keir Starmer issued a statement saying Britain values both partners, but believes strongly in treating sovereign nations with respect. That is diplomatic code for Trump is wrong. Receipt number 2, the European Union. They released a statement backing Canada in defense of multilateral trade rules, calling unilateral actions unacceptable. Receipt number 3, Australia, a treaty ally of the U.S., publicly stating they share Canada's commitment to sovereign equality. Receipt number 4, Japan. Even Tokyo signaled understanding of Canada's position. Carney knew he wouldn't be standing alone before he walked to that podium. He made the calls. He coordinated the response. And now, the U.S. finds itself facing a united front of its own allies. So, where does this go? I see 3 scenarios playing out over the next 72 hours. Scenario 1 is the emergency de-escalation. Elder statesmen from both sides intervene, a backroom deal is struck, tariffs are paused, and rhetoric is dialed back. Trust is broken, but the machinery of the alliance survives. Scenario 2 is the Cold War of the North. Neither side blinks, cooperation stops. The border becomes a bottleneck of inspections and delays, crushing the economies of border states and provinces. Intelligence sharing drops to the bare minimum. This becomes the new, painful normal. And then there is scenario 3, the rupture. This is the nightmare scenario. Trump suspends NORAD cooperation. He deploys National Guard troops to the northern border, treating Canada like a hostile nation. In response, Canada formally pivots away from the U.S., signing new exclusive security and trade pacts with Europe and Asia. The Western alliance effectively collapses from the inside. This is not hyperbole. We are watching the potential end of the most stable partnership in geopolitical history. I want to know what you think. Is Carney right to stand up and say the American era is over? Or is this a dangerous gamble that will destroy the Canadian economy? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you want to stay ahead of these massive global shifts, smash that like button and subscribe. The world is changing fast, and we will be here to track every move. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.